Let's get it. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. It's getting there, it's getting back. Ankle, I've been icing it a little bit more often. You know, the first mile and a half, it bothers me, but when that adrenaline starts flowing, baby, we going. That's what it's all about. Mindset, guys. Mindset. Really do not think about the pain. Just constantly go rehab, do what you gotta do to protect your body, obviously, or to take care of your body, but you cannot let these nagging injuries continue to hold you back and leave excuses, because it's a self battle. You want to put out this content every day. You want to be that person. You want to grind. You want to, write your own ticket, write your own check, be your own boss, be the entrepreneur, be all the things that you aspire to be. Especially if you keep up with this work, you got to get through the rough days. You got to be able to work through some pain. All right? You got to be able to work through some pain for your mental, for your own mental, not for anybody else, but for your own mental, to get through the pain. All right. As far as today's Move Swiftly thought, let's get into this Dusty May situation. Recording this March 26, 2024. Yes, March 26, 2024. And I mean, listen, the difference a year makes, right? I'm recording this, I reside out here in South Florida. And about a year ago at this time, everyone was praising the FAU Owls, Florida Atlantic Owls basketball team, for being that Cinderella story, right? Being that team that made it all the way to the Final Four. They won their region, and everyone's walking around that FAU pride. This year, they get bumped out. Obviously, when you win at a small school like that, the rumors gonna start flying around about the coach leaving for bigger programs and things like that. Just the nature of the business. That's the way it works. Not up here. Not gonna be here complaining about it or anything like that. Excuse me. However, again, the nature of the business. So this year, like I said, FAU gets bumped out in the first round. And the next day, folks, Dusty May's gone to Michigan to take over that basketball program, because they let Juwan Howard go and all that stuff. And the main takeaway, everything I know, this reeks of what actually happened in college football, right? What happened in college football with Kellen DeBoer. One day they're competing in a national championship. He's taking his Washington Huskies competing in a national championship. The next week, barely the next week, not even a week goes by before he's taking a head coaching job at Alabama. Go back a year ago, right? Roughly a year ago, where Jackson State, Coach Primetime Deion Sanders has great success at Jackson State. Before they even played the Celebration Bowl, he was already announced to be going to Colorado. Understand this. And I'm not here, like I said, I'm not here complaining about it. This is the nature of the business. And these coaches, look, they got families, they have assistants, they have people working under them, and they got to make sure that those people are adjusted and that they're paid well for what they do. So I'm not here knocking the coach's hustle to go and take better jobs if the pay is where it needs to be. My opinion on that has changed as I've developed in this business. However, one of the main thing that we got to understand, especially for you younger players and the parents out there, the people that I primarily look to serve, is you have to pick the school. You cannot pick the coach, all right? You got to pick the school and not the coach. Here's what I mean by that. I get that Primetime is one hell of a salesman. I'm sure Kellen DeBoer and Dusty May, the people that have excelled in the college football, college basketball world, college basketball coaching, college football coaching, you have to be a great salesman, all right? You have to be more of a salesman than you actually have to be a coach these days, because of how much money is involved and how much of the revenue, how much of the athletic department depends on those two sports. So you got to be able to sell yourself a lot. You got to make sure you're an entrepreneur. They make sure you're an entrepreneur, right? So as an athlete coming in, you can't pick the coach. You got to be doing your research and ask yourself, look, 1% of the people that are playing my sport, whether it's football or basketball, are going to be paid to play this game. Only 1% is going to the NBA. So what exactly, most likely I might fall into that 99%. I have to prepare myself to fall into that 99%, because that 99% may not even be because I'm not talented enough. That 99% because, hey, I might have an unfortunate injury. Something may happen in my coronavirus might happen, right? Things happen in life. So I have to ask myself, what are the professors there? What do I want to study? What is the athletic department going to allow me to study while I'm at the school? And when you pick the school, get selfish. You got to get selfish. I remember mother telling me that years ago. You got to get very selfish and pick the school based on what you're able to study and what you're going to become with the school, and not pick the coach, because the coaches are in business too. The coaches are in the business of feeding their families. The coaches are in business of winning a certain amount of games, and they're not in the business of making sure every single player graduates. Yes, that's what they're going to preach. Yes, that's what they're going to tell your parents and, you know, all the recruits and whoever. They're going to preach, oh, I'm big on academics, I'm big on this, I'm big on that, when at the end of the day, they have to make decisions for their own family. So you as a player, it's very important that you understand, look, I got to pick a school that's going to get me a quality education, that's going to allow me to do the things that I would love to see myself doing outside of playing football and outside of playing basketball. Because these coaches that brought me into the school, hey, they're in business too, and they got to eat too, they got families too, and they got to do what they got to do to make it so that the people underneath them are being taken care of the way they need to be taken care of. So get selfish and understand, whether it's Dusty May, whether it's Kellen DeBoer, whether it's Primetime Deion Sanders, Coach Primetime Deion Sanders, or whether it's the coach next year, who's even the one at Marquette, Coach Shaka Smart, I believe. He came from VCU, you know, smaller school, and now look what he's doing at Marquette. Again, it's a business. You're meant to be elevated. You're meant to go to levels. That's how this whole thing works. So you as a player, what is going to get me the quality education that I need in order to do the things that I see myself doing in the future when the game fades? When, I didn't say if, I said when the game fades, all right? The main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, makeyourmove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. It's a one-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.